Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody in the world. Welcome to Rolo and JT podcast with JT, and I'm your co-host JT. And on the other end is my brother from another mother, Rolo C, aka Rolo runs the city. And yes, he literally runs the city. How you doing, my brother?
Doing very well, sir. What's going on this evening?
Yo, man, just blessed to be here. Another day of the world for God to try to figure out maze through this chaotic world, man.
I hear you on that.
Yeah, man. So I mean, without further ado, wasn't the best of weather today, but well, actually, it was a really, really good weather day because it didn't rain and it was cool in June, which is rare.
Absolutely. I heard that. I went out for a run this morning. It was perfect weather to run. So it wasn't humid, it wasn't hot. It was just nice.
Yeah, man. And anytime that you can get weather like this and it's near the summertime, take it.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, without further ado, we're gonna get into the show topic, and this is episode 8, and our topic will be about criticism. And I'm telling you, it's probably gonna be one of the bigger and better shows that we come out with, man, because it's definitely important info about this topic here. So without further ado, I'm gonna let my man Rolo C explain it to us. Like, hey man, what you think about criticism, man, and why you think like it's so important for people to be able to handle it and take it to become a better person.
I'll put it to you like this. I thought a lot about this topic when you brought it up, so I'm glad that we're actually covering it. One of the things that there's two aspects of criticism. There's of course dishing out the criticism, which basically means that you're critiquing somebody's performance or whatnot, whether it be good and bad, it's being reported. And then, of course, you have the aspect of taking the criticism, which means to which means whatever you're getting criticized about, you try to fix those areas up that needs work, and you try to apply yourself the best way you can, so the next time your weaknesses are no longer weaknesses and they become strengths. So for me, I think it's extremely important to take the criticism, because there's a lot of people that do not become better in life because they have this thing that we call an ego. And I remember I heard the great Tony Gonzalez, the Hall of Fame tight end from the Kansas City Chiefs and Atlanta Falcons, say that his mother used to tell him, ego is no amigo. And that's the absolute truth. Um, if you can't take criticism, it's because you have a really big ego. And last time I checked, you know, you have to have ego at some point, because I mean, we all have it. I mean, we all wouldn't be where we're at if we didn't have it. But at the same token, we can't allow our egos to become a weakness. So a lot of times there's a lot of truth that's actually being told to us, but due to our ego, which is really a defense mechanism for how we feel, what it'll actually do is it'll actually hinder our growth. So at that point, when you're being criticized, there's a difference between somebody who's actually, there's a difference between criticism and hate. And of course, nowadays you see a lot of hate come off, well, throwing shade or however they say things now. But, you see a lot of it occur. And one of the most important things is to identify the difference between the two. Now, if you know cognitively that you're actually working on your weaknesses so they can become strengths, and then they're still being criticized on a certain level that you're like, wow, this is really mind blowing that you're still identifying this and that situation has been corrected. Well, that's when criticism can turn into, someone actually hating on your abilities and what you do. So, if you're a person who is a critic as well, the same way you can dish it, you have to be able to take it as well. And a lot of people have a hard time trying to take criticism, especially if they're critics themselves. because it's like I'm not under the microscope, you are. So, and then next thing you know, they're still attacking the person's quote unquote weakness. So for me, I think if you're a person who dishes out criticism, always keep it professional, always keep it on topic, and always make sure that you're keying on weaknesses that can be developed to become a strength. Because if we don't do that, we'll never get better. And that's in any aspect of life, any entity that you're involved in, anything that you want to do to achieve greatness at all costs. Now, if you're a person who is taking criticism, then you have to be the type of person who is willing to put their ego aside in order to get better. Okay. And I'll never forget that people used to say, they used to tell Jordan back in the day, you'll never win a championship if you don't use your team. And Jordan was like, you know what? Everybody knows that I'm going to try to score. Everybody knows that I'm going to try to be that guy to will the team to win. And he started utilizing his team. And that's how he started winning championships. You know, never forget, game winning shots, against Phoenix in 93 in the finals. I mean, he didn't hit the game winner. It was, he said, hey, I'm getting John Paxson the ball. Dished it out to John Paxson. John Paxson hit the game winning shot all day long. Bulls capture another title. Same thing with Steve Kerr. Hey, Steve, I'm going to you. And of course, me, I always like to tie in our shows. And if you haven't seen our show on leadership, which was our first episode, feel free to see that and see what we had to say about Jordan and his leadership in The Last Dance. But like I said, it all ties in together, man. You know what I mean? You can never become better if you're not taking the criticism for what it is and to try to enhance yourself. So if you're a person who has a hard time taking criticism, well, you got an ego problem, and that's something that needs to be resolved before you can actually grow and get better. What do you think about that, sir?
Yeah, man, I think you got some good points there. I'm gonna go and start off like this. So you have where from people who were probably living before our time, and I know from the time that we live until today's date. I'm sure when it comes to being, criticized about certain things, we could say that times have become more sensitive. All right. Now, with that being said, if the world becomes more sensitive, which means you're not being, like I say, being able to take what you receive, which I think a lot of people they dish out more than they can receive, and it's almost like you say, being like a sport. If you say, "Hey, look, I can go ahead and I could dish the rock like Steve Nash," oh, matter of fact, I could even say more of football. You could be a quarterback when it comes to criticism, but you could not be a wide receiver when it comes to it. So basically, that's what you were saying before. Like, hey, a lot of people can really dish it, but how many people can actually take it? And the thing is, like, when we do things, people, you don't. Sometimes you have an idea what to do. Sometimes you know what to do, but there's people who may have a little more experience at what you're trying to do than you. So sometimes they people give you information to try to help and improve on what you're doing, and instead of trying to make it feel like they're trying to down what you're doing. And the thing is too is like where sometimes it may be somebody that you do know that can help you out with trying to better yourself and what you're trying to do. And sometimes it can be an unrelated or unknown person or source that can help you better what you're trying to do. But sometimes you have the negative criticism where, to the point where you're going to always have haters, and then those haters are going to just say something to you that just totally, I mean, you should not intake, or you should not try to take in and feel personal about, to where you have to outlash and come back at them with a negative comment. But you can't help that, because there's so many people in the world. Those people are going to be out there. And then there's some people who say, hey, look, I'm telling you this because, hey, look, maybe if you're doing something and this doesn't work for you, maybe you want to try something like this because this worked for me. And not saying that what that person tell you will work for you, but at the same time, you have to, sometimes if you feel like you at a position and where you feel stagnant, you need to try something a little different to elevate to the task that you're trying to create. So I feel like that's why it's really important, because you got to get there somehow, but it's hard to do it by yourself. I mean, it's very, very rare. And you got anything else to add about that particular question?
Yeah, man, you're absolutely right. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we all need, some sort of input or information to come from somewhere. I don't know too many people who have made it specifically just on their own. Oh, I did this on my own and they didn't have any help. Whether you want to call it mentorship or just some sort of a guidance that comes from could come from a forum. You know what I'm saying? But we all look for something in some way, for those who want to achieve at the highest level anyway, to become successful. And for me, criticism does a lot, for anybody who wants to achieve more. And there's a difference between criticism and hate, and obviously we know that. And like I said, I explained before, there's a difference between there. No matter, I have a firm belief of this, and it was relationships that I've had in the past with people where I remember when I was younger, I would have this mindset of, man, I wish everybody would like me. I did, and I went out my way to do the best that I could so people can like me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just went out of my freaking way. And it's just a horrible way to live. Okay. And the reason why I don't live in that space anymore is because I realize I can give a shit about what people think about me at this point, especially at this time in my life. You know, so the reason why I'm bringing this up is because with criticism, right? You can tell when somebody's being critical of you and they're like, okay, we really want you to become better. So if this is what you're trying to do, we think this is how you can enhance your skills. And then you have those people that I told you that where you're trying to please them, and no matter what, it's just not going to be good enough. They're always going to criticize you. And I would like to call that high maintenance folks. Okay. There are plenty of high maintenance people on this world. And no matter what you do to appease them and do what needs to get done in order for you to make you feel like, okay, I think I've pleased them, and you absolutely haven't, it's basically because of the fact that they're high maintenance, and no matter what you do or what you try to get done, they are not going to accept you. And that is a big problem. That is absolutely a big problem. It's not called for. However, they exist and it happens. Now I think people are calling them trolls, or, how, you know, they want to supposedly criticize you, but in reality, what they're doing is, they don't got shit going on for themselves. So what they're going to try to do is they're going to try to down your hustle and what you're doing. And I think that's a big problem. I think it absolutely sucks that people like this exist. However, that's what makes the world. What makes the world is the fact that these people exist, they're around, and I look at haters in this aspect. I say, okay, you guys want to hate on me, no matter what I do, it's never going to be good enough for you. But guess what? You're still watching me. So you want to go ahead and keep on criticizing? That's okay. You just gave me another view. That's okay. You just gave me another play. That's okay, because you know what? You want to know something? No matter what, I had the balls to do what you didn't want to do. Well, better yet, you wanted to do it. You just didn't have the damn balls to damn do it. You know what I'm saying? And even what we're doing right now, it takes a lot of courage to just speak to people that we don't know. And there's people that are going to say, oh, okay, these guys know what the hell they're talking about. There's going to be some people that are going to say, oh, these guys are dumbasses. Or there's people that are going to say, well, they got a good show, but, fuck those guys. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
that's exactly the way it's going to be
Yep.
because there are people that no matter what, you cannot please everybody. But if you know in your heart of hearts that you're doing what you're supposed to do and you're delivering on what you need to deliver on, which is giving out good information, which is showing that you're owning in on your craft, then you're entitled to feel you know the high heavens all day, every day if you're going after and you're attacking life. And you know, like I said, critics are there to make you better. Haters are there to cheer you on because they didn't execute on their own dreams. And the harder they hate, in reality, the more they're cheering for you. So it's like I got family that's on my Instagram and stuff like that. Like I don't even talk to these people. You know what I'm saying? Like I have no relationship with them. Um, I haven't spoke to them in years. I'm definitely a different person from when I was growing up in my childhood. I'm not the same person. So they don't know who I am. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't have a relationship with these people, so they don't know who I am. They don't know what I do. We're not in the same wavelength. But truth be told, JT, like it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you want to act like you want to follow me on IG or whatever, and you want to just see what I got going on. But like,
Right.
and it's okay because I can care less about you liking my pictures and no shit like that. But I know every time that I know you see my pictures because you live on IG. I don't. I post my pictures. You know what I'm saying? I put my little caption and I'm gone.
Word.
And if I'm on IG and I scroll and I see your stuff, I like your stuff because at the end of the day, I'm like, okay, like I support my people no matter what. Like, hey, oh, that's a nice picture, because I'm not a hater. You know what I'm saying? But you look at me with my family, you look at me like if we're at an outing, if we're doing something, you know what I'm saying? And you just hating the fact that you ain't got shit going on for yourself. And you just like, oh, I hate that shit. But then why the fuck you following me for? You know what I'm saying? Like, look, family, and you and I both know this. Just because y'all share the same blood don't make you relatives. And you ain't family. You know what I'm saying? Cause we ain't
Yeah.
relatives. Cause you know what? We can't relate to shit.
Right.
So anyway, that's my take on that. I know I kind of went on a whole nother level on that, but your biggest, and I'm not gonna say your critics, because your biggest critics will be the people you don't know, and those are the ones that want you to get better. But your biggest haters can come from your family. So don't ever forget that, people. You know, they would rather cheer on a dude that they don't have no idea who the fuck they are, but they know you, and they'll pray that you don't make it so you can stay stagnant, just like the life that they're living.
Right.
Anyway, that was my take on that, JT.
Okay. Word. I also want to add to that as well. See, when people take criticism, what they should do is, hey, you know what? It's about making small to moderate changes in what you're doing. What you don't want to do is that you have to change your whole character to appeal for someone or a crowd or an audience. Because now, when you are changing completely and you're out of your element, now you're completely a different person. And then your product is going to become worse because what I mean? Because now people who really know you know that's not who you are. And even if you are, I mean, people who don't know who you are, your message is not going to come as crisp and clear as it should be. So it's like I say, it's a way on how to take it, is a way to how to adjust to it, and that's pretty much basically the deal. You just got to know how to handle it. Don't let the negativity get to the bottom of you. You know what I'm saying? Just know where the line draws. And if and the another thing I think too is if you got people liking you, you can't please everybody like you said. But if you got people liking you, you're doing something right. Now, if nobody likes you, the chances are you're doing something wrong.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get to the next question then, which would be like as far as criticism. I know because we've been around for a while. So name some criticism that you probably done witnessed in your life or probably went through. You know what I'm saying? As either in the past or recent.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. I went through a lot of criticism when, like for instance, for all of y'all that don't know, JT and I, we used to do, we used to make music, man. We used to make hip hop records and do a whole bunch of stuff where it was like obviously we're big hip hop fanatics. And we had our own material that we created our own stuff and created our own music. And I still do stuff from time to time. It's very therapeutic for me at this point. It's not really about trying to make money or be the biggest star, things of that nature. But everybody has their thing of therapy that they go to. So music happens to be mine. And me and this man, we've created a lot of music together. So we definitely, that was our thing. Now, at the time when I was my making my records and doing my stuff, there was a lot of people that were feeling what we had going on. And at the same token, there were people, and like I said, like even your own family, you know what I'm saying, where they didn't believe in their own dreams of, trying to own a big business or trying to, go into professional sports, things of that nature. And to me, the way I feel is you never question your ability when you're trying to go all in. And I never questioned my ability to making good music. And I knew that for my ears, it didn't hurt my ears. So I'm like, okay, if I'm not hurting my ears, I'm sure I'm not going to hurt nobody else's. And I actually had a very good, response for my music. I used to do my stuff all over town, downtown Atlanta, doing a whole bunch of stuff. I had released one of my last albums I released back, I believe, in 2011. And I actually got the attention of a record executive from Universal Records, and actually told me, okay, that said, hey, we think that we could take your record pretty far. It looks like you have a lot of music. And was basically telling me that I would probably see any figures anywhere from 6 to 8 million if I signed a contract with Universal. And this is no bullshit, no lie, because I ain't got no time or no reason to lie. Period. Okay. But one of the things that turned me off about the whole ordeal was the fact that I busted my ass to try to build my moniker, build my name, and do everything that I needed to do. All the groundwork that it takes to guerrilla market and put your stuff out. And truth be told, they wanted to have the rights of my name as well, something that I built for myself. And what was going to happen was I was going to end up signing those rights over to Universal Records, and I was going to no longer own my name. And to me, if you want to go through, you know, marketing, production costs, budgeting for videos, I would have been lucky. I would have been lucky out of that 6 or 8 million that they would have fronted me. I probably would have came out with like 40 grand, which is complete bullshit. But that's just the way. That's how dirty the music industry is. So at the end of the day, I had a belief in myself that I could do something bigger than what I thought that I could do, and I was actually able to execute on those laurels. But did I actually did I go sign the contract? Did I go do the things that were necessary to become, the next 2 Chains or anything like that? No, I didn't do that because I felt that at the end of the day, I did not want to sell my name. That was something that I built. You know, at the end of the day, when I served in the military, I had a drill sergeant who was messing up my name completely. And then he got mad at me one day because I didn't correct him. And he told me just like this. He said, Private Carabello, I want you to understand this. The Army could take away anything from you, but we cannot take away your name. So if I'm messing up your name, you make sure you correct me. And that really stuck with me. So I started thinking about my rap name and everything that I had built with that reputation from that point. I said, damn, I'm not going to sell this to these people because they're going to keep on getting those residuals off of my name. And I'm stuck with, 40 grand left out of, I thought I was going to get 6 million right in my pocket. But I know how the music industry works. So that's the reason why I didn't go through with it. But the reason why I bring up that story is because what happened with me was that I had people in my own family who doubted my ability, who even tried to talk me out of doing music, and was just like told me like straight up like, oh well, don't you think you're a little too old to be trying to do that? That's like something that teenagers do and this and that. I'm like, last time I checked, I'm like, you know what? If I was a teenager, I would have jumped on that damn deal and then been screwed while they were collecting the residuals off of my money and off of my name, and I would have been screwed up. That would have been an immature teenage move, and I didn't do that. You know, let alone people trying to give you advice when they have no aspirations for themselves and they're not living the life that they want to live and they're just settling like you're settling for the little bullshit house you're living in when God wants to give you so much more. You're settling for that little bullshit ass marriage that you're living in when in reality that woman don't want to be with you or you don't want to be with her, but you're doing it because it's a safe option. And in reality, you know, God wants to give you so much, but you're rejecting his blessings. And I've never lived my life like that. I've always lived my life fearless. And everything that I wanted to do in my life, I've done it. And I'm going to continue to do because God got so much for me. I haven't even started yet. That's the crazy thing. Let alone, I'm not saying that I'm on this journey and I'm in the middle. No, like I think I'm approaching the starting line right now. So I feel very optimistic about what we're doing, especially with our podcast. But I just want to be as real and authentic as I can with you because I have been subjected to a whole bunch of criticism, but I've always come out on the other end. And I expect anybody who's listening to this to feel the same way because ain't shit special about me, ain't shit special about JT, ain't shit special about anybody, but you are special to you. Okay? So in that case, treat yourself with the special manner that you deserve. Anyway, I know the show's going a little bit longer than what we normally do, but I think JT brought up a great topic, and I'm going to defer to him at this time so that way he can give you his take on the impacts of criticism and how it's taken his life.
Well, I'm gonna go by saying this. So and I know we talk about this pretty much about every show or how life and how things are going on these days, where it's like it felt like we're just getting hammered more and more by the government. So as I don't feel like it's more as people that we should come together to fight ourselves against them to make it a better country, a better world, whatnot. But what I witnessed too was there's a lot of guys who on YouTube who will have a so-called movement and or kind of be the people who try to get the people to you know bring people together and form an alliance to have our freedom. But what I see wrong is I see people they're attacking each other over because one is doing it this way, one doing it another way, and then it becomes a beef. Then when you see the beef, then sometimes that beef can become heavier than what it should be. Once again, when it comes to trying to get together and find a way to have freedom, you're going to have a collective mind, mind thoughts because people are different. So you have to find a balance to where, even though you may not do something the way that someone else does it, you should try to respect their views and their thoughts, especially if it's on a positive level. Because if we continue to do beefs, I mean, the beefs in the streets, that's different because it's hard to do that because people got their mindsets and that's the way they're going to do things. But for the people who feel like, hey, they're trying to go a positive route, but if you're beefing with someone else that's trying to do the same thing but in a different way, you're basically offsetting. You know what I'm saying? You're offsetting the objective of what you're trying to do. So I feel like in order to get over the hump and to actually improve and come together as people, as one, we would have to be better at, you know, uh, actually getting together, understanding where someone's coming from, actually trying to mend and make a middle ground to where we all could understand the objective and follow that direct path. So it's not gonna be easy, especially the more people you got to deal with, the harder it's going to be. But in order to take back your freedom, you're going to have to believe that you're going to be able to do it, and you're going to be able to work and trust with the people that you're trying to get into what the objective is, and that's becoming a freer country, freer people and whatnot. So, anything else you want to add to the question?
No, man, I think that hits the nail right on the head, man. For the most part, we just we really need to take heed to each other and what we're saying. We need to really quit the hate. We really need to, critique each other. We need to go ahead and receive that criticism and really apply ourselves so we can make something positive as opposed to, feeling that we're having bruised egos. And I mean, because we can't get better if we don't address the issue. And we like we talked in past shows, you can't address a problem if you think there is one. And trust what I tell you, we all have problems that we need to address. So if you think that you're walking on this earth and you think you're walking perfect, like you don't have an issue that you need to address, then you got a big issue to address the fact that you think that you're perfect because ain't nobody walking in this world perfect. So, like I said, man, every day, just grateful to come and bring some good information to people, man. Tell people about our life experiences and how they can go ahead and better themselves. At the end of the day, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. You know, this thing's gonna keep going round and round, and hopefully, people can really take heed to what's being said in this podcast.
Yeah, facts, man, facts, and also, just to know, like, no matter how evil or positive life is, criticism will always be a part of life. But just know, if you want to be happy, you want to sustain, you want to succeed, you want to be uh, riding with the Most High, you have to overweigh that positive to derail that negative. The scale is always in your court, and it's up to you to figure out uh, how to carry on with it, and how to move on with it, and how to balance it to where it can become a better you. Let's see. With that being said, um, I appreciate you all for listening to the show. Uh, we love doing this. Episode 8, criticism, one of the most important things you got to deal with in life. Um, I mean, I just feel like, man, we got more and more to give to you. So please stay in tune with us. Um, Definitely, I'm JT, along with my brother from another mother, Rolo C, aka Rolo runs the city, and he literally runs the city. And as this end of the show carries out, I'm gonna let him go and take us out of the show.
Yeah, people, we greatly appreciate your listenership. Like I said all the time, we greatly do appreciate you guys joining us on this journey here. Feel free to get social with us. Y'all already know what it is. Definitely hit us both up at Instagram. You can hit me up at Rolo Runs the City on Instagram. You could also hit up my man JT on Instagram at So Amazing 247. That is at So Amazing 247. You can hit my man up on IG, and if you want, you could also hit me up on Twitter at Rolo Runs the City. Feel free to go ahead and give us anything that we may have missed. Whether if you want to just say what's up to us, want a shout out, a show idea, or just basically criticize us and tell that the show sucks. That's fine with us too. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I even give you a shout out and say, hey, you know, uh, Jock 249 said that we ain't worth anything. You know what I'm saying? I have no problem with that, man. I greatly do appreciate you guys, man. I appreciate the criticism because at the end of the day, we're really trying to become better, in reference to this show, in reference to better people, communicators, everything that we can do to go ahead and try to get this thing moving forward and become one with one. Greatly appreciate you guys. This is Rolo. That's JT. Rolo runs the city with JT podcast, and we out of here.
Oh yeah, also freedom isn't free until we live in free. We out.